Hey guys, I got a question for you. Would you like to see Eve and Mark together? It'll be exciting, right? But what if I told you it could happen? I know! Welcome to another complete history video. We're gonna talk about Samantha Eve Wilkins, aka Adam Eve in comics. Spoiler alert. Before we begin in this video, we will tell you everything about Eve, from her powers in the comics, to her relationship with Mark, to her role in defeating the Viltrumites. This video is gonna cover it all, okay? It's gonna be exciting, I promise. And let's start with her powers and weaknesses in the comics, and then I'm gonna tell you her story. Adam Eve can do some pretty cool stuff with her powers. She can mess around with matter and energy at this super teeny tiny level, like smaller than small. It's tiny. By just thinking about it, she can change regular stuff into whatever she wants. Flying, yeah, she can do that too, just by making the air around her lighter and throwing up some force fields. She's up in the air, no problem. And speaking of force fields, she can make those too, yeah. Thanks to her power to transform things, unfair. Move things with her mind, totally. She can make objects float and fly around and basically be a puppet. Oh, she'd be so much fun to have at Halloween. There's more. She's figured out how to shoot powerful energy blasts, but she's not stopping at shooting things. She can whip out weapons out of thin air. Swords, shields, you name it. She would be your MVP player at a LARP competition, okay? She could create all the weapons you could ever want. And she can mess with elements of nature. Think summoning, controlling fire, water, all that good stuff. Yes, I know what you're thinking. These powers can make her undefeatable. Yes, to an extent, but Invincible has some great supervillains. The story's gonna reveal everything to you, okay? So just stick around. Yeah, so where were we? Yes, powers. Another game-changing power is regeneration. So if she gets messed up badly, her body just bounces back. Plus, she can never age. She's like immortal. She's got the power of resurrection. Isn't that neat? Enough of the powers. Let's talk about her weaknesses. If it weren't for these weaknesses, gosh, the show would be named Adam Eve, not Invincible. Adam Eve faces a drawback when her transmutation power is called rapid caloric depletion. Basically, when she transforms stuff, any leftover atoms end up in her body and later need to be, well, gotten rid of. So she mentions like she has to hit the bathroom like 6 or 7 times on heavy power days, like gosh, that's messed up. During her pregnancy, she crafted a ring using her powers and sped up her digestion, but going overboard could have been bad for her kid, Tara. Yeah, she has a kid too, more on that later. Then there's this mental block thing. The government put these mental blocks in her brain to prevent her powers from going all out. Reminds me of a certain X-Men. Jean Grey, I'm looking at you. Anyways, turns out extreme emotional trauma can override these blocks, and after that, she can use her powers on living things. Oh boy. There you go. That was it, with powers and weaknesses. Story time now. Samantha Eve Wilkins was born with extraordinary powers to Arias Brandyworth and an unnamed mother. Interesting name. Unfortunately, though, her mom didn't make it through to childbirth due to Samantha's uncontrollable powers. Seizing an opportunity, Steve Erickson tried to acquire her for weaponization. That's nice. All you need to know is that this Steven is the only thing you need to know about Steven is this: that he was a powerful guy in the army who wanted to use her as a weapon. The end. To protect Samantha, Brandyworth deceived Erickson by pretending Samantha had died, using the miscarried fetus of Betsy and Adam Wilkins instead. Unaware of the switcheroo, Betsy and Adam became Samantha's adoptive parents. Growing up, Samantha had an unusual childhood with her father, Brandyworth, observing her from a distance. Interestingly, her first word was the chemical group CH2OH, representing hydroxymethyl. During her toddler years, she showcased her scientific prowess by assisting a babysitter with homework. Whoa. Although it made it to a school for young scholars, she was eventually expelled for not meeting their standards. And then a disagreement with her father led to her mom serving her a meal of chicken, which Samantha found gross, and it was during this meal that she discovered her transmutation powers by turning it into a cheeseburger. I want to have that power so bad. Anyways, in a crucial conversation with her daddy, Brandyworth disclosed that Samantha possessed transmutation powers because of him. He explained that she was meant to be a weapon for the US government, but was spared due to his love for her real mother, warning her not to use her powers publicly. Yeah, Samantha ignored that. Years later, Samantha, now known as Adam Eve, engaged in a battle with a villain named Kilcannon. Brandyworth reappeared, cautioning Samantha about the consequences of using her powers. He's like, don't do it. Despite his warnings, she persisted and wore a mask during her crime-fighting endeavors because she's like, haha, facial recognition, be damned! You can't figure me out. Anyways, on her birthday, Samantha confronted a crime scene involving 4 children holding hostages. The battle ensued, with the 4 gaining the upper hand. Brandyworth was taken hostage, revealing a dark secret about Samantha's powers. It didn't work on living matter due to the installed mental blocks, as the Eve's memories were erased, and she discovered the tragic fate of her parents. Emotionally distressed, to say the least, Samantha overcame her mental blocks, using her powers to erase memories and leave her past behind. Returning home, she found her parents upset and led to a heated argument. Seeking solace in her room, Samantha used her powers to alter a family photo, revealing her deep longing for the connection she once had. Oh, so sad. Yes, she had a traumatic childhood. So did I. Moving on. You want to know what's more sad to see? Her with Rex Splode. Have you ever wondered how she ended up with Rex? Because they didn't show that in the show. But don't worry, I will tell you. Just a heads up, Rex and Eve's story is completely different in the show. In high school, Eve attended Reginald Vale Johnson High School while battling Kilcannon. Then she met Rex Sloane. Together they stopped Kilcannon, and Rex sought advice from Eve for his mission. And after the mission, Rex stayed the night at Eve's place. Interesting. The next morning, he headed to the Pentagon, but later returned with unsettling news. He killed Radcliffe and destroyed his house. Oops. Panicking about the government salvaging the scene, they found Steve Erickson on site. The duo battled government officials with Rex, attempting to destroy a building. Erickson tried to recruit Rex, who refused, stating that he only needed Eve, and that they went and escaped to the Art Rosenbaum's shop. After a comment by Rex, Eve stormed out, revealing that Erickson killed her real father. Dun dun dun, drama! They reconciled, okay, it's fine. And they went to Eve's house, where she made food for Rex. Later, Rex left, and Eve discovered that he planned to kill his parents. Whoa! So she intervenes, and they walked away, deciding against it. But how did she meet Invincible, though? Well, Eve and Rex decided to join the Teen Team, a bunch of teen heroes led by Robot. They meet Invincible while fighting the Muller twins, and finds out he's Mark, a fellow schoolmate. One night, Eve catches Rex cheating. Upset by Rex cheating with duplicated that little. She tells Mark, quits the team, and becomes good friends with Mark. Eve and Invincible start teaming up for missions, including facing the Lizard League, and one day Eve discovers Mark with Amber, feels disappointed, and later learned that William knows Mark's secret. There's also a time when Eve dates William. What? They even have a double date with Amber and Mark. Yeah. Annoyed by William, she breaks up with him and then takes off. It's really weird. Here it is. And then Eve quits being a superhero, goes to Africa, helps locals, and decides to tell Mark her feelings, but leaves without doing so. Okay, yes. Over time, and by working a lot of missions together, she develops feelings for Mark, and she returns to help against. It's just another villain in the comics, okay? One day, Mark and Eve share stories, kiss unexpectedly, and embark on a mission against Sequence with the Guardians, yes. By the way, Mark and his girlfriend had broken up until now. It wasn't something traumatic, so before you start calling Mark a cheater, stop right there. Okay, I'm just kidding. So Eve learns that Mark knows her feelings through an alternate version of Mark. Yes, we have that too in this story. One thing leads to another, and Mark and Eve's relationship progresses after a battle against Dr. Seismic. They share a kiss, marking the start of their intimate relationship. Fun fact, Eve had feelings for Mark from day one, even when she was with Rex. Interesting. Eve decides to start a private security company called Invincible Incorporated with Mark. Their first task is to stop Powerplex, a vengeful Pentagon scientist. Mark successfully completes the job, and Powerplex is arrested. Oh yeah. Soon after, they get a call about alternate versions of Mark causing chaos worldwide. And Mark and Eve team up to tackle the situation, and Eve manages to stop one of the alternate Marks. Whoa, but not without getting injured. Together with Cyberforce, they take down another version of Mark, leading to Eve being hurt. Well, guess what? She wakes up. And you wanna know what happens? When she wakes up, oh boy, it is one of the best battles in comics. You wanna know what happens? Well, 2 days later, Eve wakes up from her coma and learns that Mark is in a fierce battle. Initially believed to be with Nolan, however, it's revealed that Conquest is Mark's opponent. Concerned for Mark's safety, Eve disconnects her medical tubes, and in a tense moment, she accidentally lets slip to her parents that Mark is invincible. Oopsie. Mark, in the middle of a battle, requests Cecil to send Eve to his location. When Eve arrives, Mark insists that she doesn't interfere. What? But then Conquest ends up breaking Mark's leg. Eve tries to restrain Conquest in a bubble, but he breaks free, severely injuring her in the process. And then Mark catches Eve, placing her on the ground, and then he continues to fight Conquest. Eve, on the verge of death, overcomes her mental blocks, recovering from her wounds and losing her clothes. Yep. And emits a powerful blast, and then she damages Conquest severely. However, she faints, and Conquest attempts to kill her. Upon waking up, she finds Mark victorious and alive. The Guardians retrieve her, and Mark is taken to the hospital to heal. Later, Eve's physical changes catches Mark's attention, leading to an intimate moment that's interrupted by Mark's concerned mom. Hey, come on, Mom. She urges Mark to quit being a superhero. Following Rex's death in the Invincible War, Eve and Mark attend his funeral, and Eve confesses her love to Mark during her speech, ending it prematurely due to emotional stress. She admits to Mark that she developed feelings for him while with Rex, and regrets not giving Rex a chance. Yeah, well, too bad he's dead. Mark smiles, and they head to Eve's house for another intimate encounter. What? Anyways, soon after the battle, Eve gets pregnant. She was not ready, and Mark knows nothing about this. Things take an even weirder turn when Mark had to go join the Viltrumite War, but before Mark departs, Eve seeks comfort in sleeping with him once more. Tearfully, she requests to hold on to him for the last time. Sweet and sad at the same time, right? You know, Mark was out there battling for months. No one had contact with him, so Eve presumed he was dead, but he wasn't. He came back after 10 months, and things were normal for a time. But one day, Mark catches Eve crying. Turns out she had an abortion while Mark was away. Oh boy. And after some time, things went back to normal again. But did they really though? No. Mark and Eve had a lot of fights with a lot of guys after that. Thrag, other Viltrumites, dinosaurs, I mean everybody. But they do get a ray of happiness again in the form of another child. Eve gets pregnant again, but this time she did not abort this one. The baby turns out to be a girl named Tara. Oh, so there you go. That was the story of Eve in the comics. I've tried my darnest to break down the whole series of comics into a small video. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, please feel free to let us know down in the comment section. Thank you for watching and see you next time.